Evening, guys. It's Monday, and we had the elections over the weekend, and widely as expected. Actually, the price action is also very much expected. Um, Maybe a little bit more bearish than I thought was going to happen, but still, I mean, it's let's have an analysis of what went on here. We had the euro break 110 after the French elections and couldn't hold it, couldn't hold above it. Profit taking immediately from the open. Bouts and waves that came through, and as soon as it broke back below 110, sort of a dangerous sign that we're going to have a deeper pullback. Now, if you're a trader and you're looking at this price action here, this is what you need to be thinking about. NFP was on Friday, yeah. There's a lot of stops building below the low of Friday, yeah. That's a natural first target. So if you're going to be buying, wait for at least those stops to be taken, yeah, and that will give you the sort of extra sort of confidence that the profit taking had some reason behind it, yeah, and had sort of a little bit of direction behind it. Now, you don't really think that this is changing overall trend. It's just the market did run up a fair bit. Buy the room to sell. The fact happens all the time. Hit the second failure at 110 going into start of Europe as well. That was enough for me to get out. That's it. That's let's see where we go from here. How far we pull back. Now, I'm definitely looking to buy. Right. I doubt the sellers are too keen to be hanging around here for a week or so. And so I'll be looking to buy. I don't think we're going to the trend channel. So the trend channel, if we were going to be in the trend channel, would pull all the way back towards 108. No, that can happen. Right, I don't know if this is 108. No, I don't know about that. I don't think that's it. What's that? What's the one? No, that's not the right one. Alright, broadly. Sorry about that. Sort of the trend channel that you've seen develop in the last couple of months. Now that would pull us all the way back to 108, 107. I just don't know how we're going to get down there. Alright, but obviously you got some stops and you feel the gap, and it would look nice in the charts if it did somehow. Alright, maybe the focus on the Fed raising rates, and maybe Draghi says something to put off the expectation of this next meeting, right? So there's all this expectation on next ECB meeting, the June meeting, that there's going to be a change in language, and that's where we're going to get some details about ending for QE and the start of tapering. Now, any sort of pushback on that timeline, combined with the US raising rates, probably would push us back down to 108, 107. All right, but even that would be really good buying. I think it's inevitable that the euro goes higher here. I think the end is nigh for the ECB's expansion in monetary policy. Therefore, yields are going to start to increase in value, and it's just a timing thing rather than anything else. Easily we can find support in the low 109s and start that run up towards 115, and that's the eventual target, right? That's where we eventually want to get to. 115, that level which has been tested a couple of times in the past few years, and how we go above that really probably is to do with the ECB and the timeline, right? And how many times the Fed raises. Yeah, but I don't think that we'll be going below parity. I don't think we'll be going below or testing parity. That's seems like the dream for that is over for this particular cycle. It would take some serious negativity and something I haven't seen, unforeseen negativity, for this to happen. I mean, you wouldn't discount that the pound's going to have another leg lower as the Brexit negotiations heat up, and perhaps the Brexit negotiations might overflow onto the euro. Yeah, okay, there's a negative way, I suppose. But from the ECB itself, I don't think that's the likely outcome. And so I'm going to be playing that. I'm going to be playing that long, and I want to have relatively tight stops. So I'm not going to be buying and holding because I don't want to get caught into that trap. But I'll be buying at 109, maybe stop at 108.60. 50-point stops, and then reevaluating if I get stopped out if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, then I'm really wrong. That's the sort of thing here, because I'm ultra bullish and I've been talking this whole trade up for almost a month now. And so if I'm wrong here, it's really going to hit the foundation on my trade. So I know myself, and in that scenario, I'm not going to go to war. Yeah, I'm not going to start buying more and averaging in, because I could see myself getting into trouble for that. deja vu of Aussie Kiwi if we start that up again. And we all know how that worked out. 2 months of idling, 2 years of idling down in sub 105s, and I never caught the return. How is Aussie Kiwi going actually? Aussie Kiwi is our enemy now. We used to trade it a lot, talked about buying it a lot, and it did have that, finally had that huge rally, but we never got most of it. I suspect we might be testing 105 here. Aussie's really sick. Aussie's got some serious problems. China's not helping as well. China trade balance today was weak. I don't think that's going to help. And just Kiwi itself had some strong data, and so the whole Aussie Kiwi rally is probably delayed. So 105, maybe even get down to some of these previous levels. If China really goes off the boil, then you might be able to test the Aussie Kiwi parity, and we might be able to rebuild that trade again, the trade of the year, trade of the decade. Buying that really low level of two countries which generally spend most of their time between 110 and 130. Yeah, don't marry it. Haha. Well, we could get into trouble with this euro, right? Yeah, I suppose. I mean, there's those people who think that the euro is going to break up eventually. I don't know. It'll be right. It will be right. They don't need him, UK. Alright, so let's have a look at some analysis of what it means, what the next thing is going to be. So first off, the French election. Yeah, so basically the trade today, if you're not in the market, is looking to buy that euro sell-off here. Sorry, I should have been a bit more clear about that. This is my favorite trade. Now, Kiwi, Euro Yen is also the other way of playing this. Now, Euro Yen, given the dollar yen's rally and the Euro yen's rally, you have to be a little bit more cautious about how far it's going to pull back. So I was looking for 123. I'm now looking for a little bit more. I mean, it could end up being 123 is enough. But it might get down all the way down to 122, and I'll be having another look down here. Alright, that would coincide with dollar yen failing at 113, which it seems to have done. You have a new lower high here, and the euro failing at 110. So just a pullback, nothing crazy, just a correction, and then we can start to rebuild some longs. And it could get choppy up here like this, then choppy, 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 and then up. 130 is the target. So, they did enter a trade during the Asian session. Got a little bit excited, bought some gold. That was on that price action as a short covering started, and stocks turned lower. Stocks are actually still pretty much negative here. Not negative, but surprisingly weak in the Europe, and I thought we were leading into a bit of a correction in the stocks, and then correction in the euro, and therefore risk off a little bit, and the a bit of a reversal of the heavy selling you've seen in the dollar yen. That was the whole trade there for gold, but it could be maybe early. But regardless, it's a $5 stop. It's not huge, and it has fallen far, so definitely don't have to follow that one. But I think it's worth it. US session will make or break it pretty quickly, probably. But yeah, so the euro, we're looking very closely to buy it soon, and just will be dictating price action. And euro yen, another 100 points lower. Alright, so let's quickly look at some of the data outs. Start with the Chinese trade balance first, yeah? It came out in Asia today. It is showing some dangerous signs here. Imports slowing. Alright, so the trade balance is ballooning because imports are slowing down quickly. And China still got the iron ore pile up, so this is negative for Aussie. Still building, even as iron ore prices fall. So definitely doesn't help the outlook for the Aussie, which has found some tentative support in the last couple of days, but by no means am I racing to buy it. HSBC put out a little note on Macron. Actually, a lot of banks put out notes on auto. Man, it was actually, yeah, they were like, oh, you know, it's all good, everything's good. Maybe you have a pullback short term, looking to buy the dip. I don't like that everyone's on the same idea now. I would rather it be a little bit of a outside idea rather than mainstream. Doesn't mean it can't work. You know, obviously it's still something, but it's. I'd rather see the euro towards 112 before all the analysts get bullish. You don't want to be 110 when analysts getting bullish so early. Yeah, we do have the Aussie budget tomorrow, Erebus. So we'll definitely have a look at that. That'll be a bit of a small event. It's very Aussie centric. It shouldn't have too much effect on the Aussie dollar. It might have some effect via potential impact long term on its credit ratings. But yeah, no, usually budgets don't do much. Even the US budget doesn't do much for the US dollar. It's more to do with if they're going to pass it or not over in the US, not exactly what's in it. So Macron won by a lot, yeah, and Le Pen actually disappointed. So it's interesting in the sense that Macron's party is a very fresh party, new party, and so this is sort of shaking things up in French politics. He's an ex-banker, so he's probably going to be market friendly. He wants to do some new policies. And deeper Eurozone integration is part of his deal. He's probably going to start seeing some of those notorious strikes that you see in France if they do cut so much public spending. So yeah, we don't need to go into that until later. Just to make sure we didn't miss anything, we're going to check some of the macro ideas over the weekend. So when we're talking about this June meeting, what we're talking about is the ECB to scale back its recent easing bias at the June meeting and then announce tapering in September. Alright? So a two-step process, but the first step being the June meeting. So this is going to be very supportive as we lead up to it. Now whether Draghi actually does that probably depends on how high the euro is and how much yields in Europe have started to rally. He probably wants to delay as much as possible, and he's pretty much the perma bear, so he could continue to be the perma bear. Other big news over the weekend: we got oil rallying sharply since it tested 44 the other day. It's up on the back of OPEC seeming to make a commitment to extend the OPEC cuts. This afternoon, Russia came out and also extended the budget cuts. So the OPEC cuts, and this has not had the desired result. That was the Russian news, yeah. And the market's actually rolled over again. Probably pretty dangerous here for the bulls. Oh, Jesus. Oh, we'll see. We'll see if we... I mean, if we they tried as hard as they can to jawbone it up, and it's still struggling. That's not good, yeah. I mean, the jawbone was expected. Now we'll see if we can break back into this range. We need to break back into 47.50, I believe, was the previous levels that really got the market sort of excited before we get back above 47.50. Then we can talk about 50. If we get above 50, then we can talk 54, 55. But yeah, just short term anyway. We're just searching for support still, and it's well, I suppose it's going to be hard work to get below 40. But yeah, that's another big story that was happening over the weekend, but it's mostly important for Canadian dollar, yeah? So you saw the Canadian dollar reverse quite sharply. But if oil rolls over again, so imagine this is the inverse of the oil chart. As oil's rolled over in the last hour or so, you're seeing dollar CAD start to pick up again. There's a lot of interest to buy dollar CAD on dips, so don't underestimate that. Don't really get too bearish on it just yet. So bearish on dollar CAD, not CAD. Be bearish on CAD, if that makes sense. Have a look at the DAX. Have a look at the DAX. Yeah, you be careful, right? You be careful when you're playing with the DAX when it's overshot to the top side. Its pullbacks can be fierce. Pretty hard to argue that it's bullish though. Just how far is it going to pull back? I mean, a pullback for DAX to 12.4 is nothing. Nothing. You can do that in 2 days. Yeah, so I don't know. I suppose I'll be looking to buy 12.5. No real interest in buying this high, but the backdrop is quite positive in Europe, so shouldn't be too big an issue. You're buying long here, Kyan. Alright. Yeah, look, it's not bad, right? You know, imagine if we got back above, it would look like it's just taking stops out. And buyers would definitely re-enter if we got back to 109.70, wouldn't it? I mean, people want to buy, they just need to see the right sort of price action to get involved again. So, yeah. I mean, I'm not against it, you know, the risk-reward lower is much better. You might find yourself 20, 30 pips too early. It's a muted reaction. Stocks were pretty muted too. Maybe positive in some regards, but nothing too crazy. And you're seeing in the European session that give back most of the gains. Pretty sure DAX has turned negative after being up a couple of 100 points. I mean, this is after hours. Yes, a lot of this rally was after hours, so it's just turning negative now. So not as bad as it looks there on the chart. So this is after the close on Friday. The market had a nice rally there in the DAX. Eventually we're going to be moving a little bit towards German politics and Italian politics. Let's leave European politics out of it for a little bit though. I think it's better to focus on the Fed and the expectations for June, Fed speakers as well, and just the Euro's price action and any sort of rumors or comments about this June meeting come out for the ECB. So 2 huge, central bank meetings next month. They're going to be probably dominating price action this month. Other than that, obviously Trump and Trump's trade and whether he can get the healthcare fully passed and how he's emerging any more details of the tax plan. all that stuff will be important, but it's and probably good for risk on, risk off. But you know, yeah, there isn't a huge story in the market right now, right? Isn't something we can sink our teeth in. The French elections were a bit of a fizzer, and it could come out of anywhere, right? It could come out of, you know, Chinese stocks hit 6-month lows today. So apart from, you know, worldwide every stock market's pretty much near record highs, China hit 6-month lows. China's got the opposite issue here. They've got you know, too much strength, and they're trying to sort of slow it down artificially. Alright, Friday iron ore was down 5%. We'll get some iron ore charts going tomorrow. We'll have a look at how far I can go. I believe the target on the downside is $50 or $40 a ton. That's another $10 to $20 from here. Alright, Fed speak, that's what we were looking for here. We've got Bullard and Mester today, Kashkari, Rosengreen, Kaplan on Tuesday, Rosengreen on Wednesday, Dudley on Thursday, Evans, Hark on Friday. That's a huge amount of Fed speak. We're really going to get firming or pushed away ideas probably by end of Tuesday, right? Kashkari is the dissenter from last meeting, or from the hike 2 meetings ago, sorry. Draghi speaking on Wednesday. Alright, so let's pan out, you know, looking forward to Draghi's meeting. So speech, let's just double check what it's on. And we've got the due to speak about the impact of monetary policy at the Dutch House of Representatives. Definitely on topic, isn't it? Don't know if there'll be question times in that sort of speech though. So yeah, let's not freak out. I mean, let's not, you know, chase the market too quickly. Let's let opportunities come to us. You know, have your views, but let, you know, price action. Definitely profit taking is in control right now. So there's no reason to rush into this euro trade or euro yen. Be very patient here. There's and you will be rewarded. Yeah, it's if you time your entry good enough. Even if the euro is going down to 107, the first time it goes to 109, it should have a bounce, and then, you know, fail at 109.50. It's still a two-way sort of pair. You shouldn't get into too much trouble if you buy off the right levels, and there's something to be said about that. So right now I can't see a trade which makes too much sense apart from long gold, and that's just because it got a little bit oversold short term. It should do well given the dollar yen and stock markets movements so far, but you know, it's not something that you have to trade. Gold is pretty speculative, yeah. So yeah, we'll definitely see how it plays out in the next 24 hours. Hopefully tomorrow we do have some levels that we can enter. So you want to see the euro find support and then start to build strength and start to resume its uptrend, and then that gives you the confidence to enter. If it does find support, say at 109, and then it starts to rally, the thing about it, which is nice here, if you're a trend buyer, is, you know, say it buys at 109 and then it starts to grind up and you like it and you buy at 109.30, you can put your stop just at 108.90. Alright, so it helps with putting your stops at nice levels as well, waiting for support to be found. Because it's easy enough to see that, you know, that's where you should put your stop, and if it does make a new low, there's something wrong. Right, so that's why I like it, actually. That's why I like a lot. You know, trend trading is so good for placing stops because of the higher lows that you should get, and probably use the 4 hour or the daily at least when you're looking for the lows. Don't just look at the 1 hour or 15, because you might get too shorter time period. Like, that's not a low, that's not a low. You know, you'd think that'd be low, right? That shouldn't get below. Yeah, so look at to find a little bit of support down here. That makes sense. Well, look, we're gonna, we got the trade idea, and so we're going over the next week. We're gonna see how it plays out, and how we see if we can make some money out of it. Yeah, that's why we're all here. All right, so good luck with your trading, guys. It's one of those days which is a little bit dangerous, so just be careful. And tomorrow we will reschedule same time, and we'll see if it's a little bit clearer and if it's a bit safer to enter. Aussie CAD is a pretty good sell, Dr. Pippa, if you believe that OPEC's going to support oil. So keep an eye on the oil. If it starts to turn up again, then Aussie CAD's a very good sell. Alright. Alright guys, good luck with your trades. I'll be back tomorrow.